Hello friends, I hope you are well. One of the most important things we have in the discussion of mobile phone schematics is the schematic of SMD components, and the most commonly used component on the board is the resistor component. Today, we want to discuss the resistor component in the discussion of schematics. The resistors on the board, their own values, the type of test they are in, the type of circuit they are in, and in general, we will teach you all the resistors, including fixed fuse and variable resistors on the schematic. Please stay with me until the end of the video to learn all things related to resistors. Okay, friends, first we'll open a map in our dongle. This is an iPhone 7 map. I'll enlarge a part of the board and zoom in on the parts so you can see the whole thing. Components that are displayed as resistors on the map. They are indicated by the letters R. In this section, the letters R are fully visible. Let's zoom out of the board and show the board view. As you can see, the components have different colors. We have black and cream components. Generally, the resistor is black with its own size bases. I will choose this component. As you can see, the R term is displayed in this section. The next component is the same. Just keep in mind that the color scheme of the components is not effective. As you can see, a black component can also show us the capacitor and show the C term. So the standard color scheme of the components is not correct. Let's get into the discussion of the map. As you can see, the resistor is shown on the map. The resistor in the diagram has different parameters. The symbol for the resistor in the diagram is zigzag. This resistor is in series because both legs are inside the line. Again, as you can see, we see the word R, which is the symbol for resistance and the first letter of the word resistor. Following this, you will see the resistor code shown as 5502 and 5510. Finally, you will see the word RF, which indicates that the component is in the antenna circuit. We will examine the capacitive part of the resistor. The unit of measurement for our resistors is ohms. The first number below the resistor number is our ohm value, which we have here is 100 kilo ohms. The word K, which we see at the end, is the same unit as kilo or thousand, which is 100,000 ohms of resistance. The error coefficients of the resistors in the diagram are different, which we have an error coefficient of 1%, 5%, 0.5%, 0.1%, where our resistor is 1%. And also the electrical power of our resistor is 1.32 of a watt, which is the electrical power that this resistor has, and generally the power of resistors in the diagram is the same. Another important part of the diagram is the term MF, which we have here are metal film resistors. These resistors have very low error rates and are very reliable. These are generally used in board diagrams. 01005 is the size of the resistor, and finally we have the term baseband, which shows the circuit in which the resistor is located. We check the next resistor. As you can see, this resistor is completely parallel, one leg in the line and one leg in the GND of the board, which is possible to remove for this resistor. This resistor has a 0.5% error rate. As we said, metal film resistors have very low error rates. Its wattage is also the same as the previous resistor, and the resistor is in the circuit of the keys, the volume key is high, and you can see this part easily. We will check other parts of the map about resistors and explain it. Another resistor is this resistor in the LCD section, and it is in the LCD connection path. As you can see, its resistance is 100 kiloohms. But unlike the previous resistors, it has a high error coefficient of 5%. All parameters are exactly the same as the previous resistors, only the error coefficient differs. And it was in the image path. Let's move on to the next resistor, the fuse resistor, which is a very important resistor. This resistor is often responsible for protecting the circuit. As you can see, this resistor is 0 ohm and has a 0% error coefficient. This resistor is similar to other resistors and is no different from them in appearance. I will move on to the next resistor, which we want to show in the diagram, the TF resistor. You often see MIS resistors, but here we have the TF resistor, which has a very low error coefficient of 0.1%. And as you can see, our TF resistor is a thermal fuse. They are resistors that are highly sensitive to temperature, and these resistors are very rarely seen on the board. And in this circuit that we see in the buck accessory, these resistors are seen more often, and most of them are 0.1%. We move on to the next part. We will explain the variable resistor part. Most of the variable resistors on the board are thermal resistors. Of course, we also had voltage resistors before. Here we have the NTC resistor, which is a thermal function resistor to reduce heat. As you can see, this resistor is 10 kiloohms, has a 1% error factor. And in the description section we do not see expressions such as MFTF etc. It is located in the power IC circuit and schematically has a circle in its symbol, and as you can see, one side of the path is completely inside the power IC and one side of the path is connected to GND. Usually, in troubleshooting, it is possible to remove the variable resistor in problems that arise in the heat issue. As you can see, a fuse resistor is seen in the power IC components. We have a 1 kilo MF resistor. I want to show that on a page related to a circuit, there are various types of resistors with different error coefficients. Here we saw 3 resistors side by side that have different capacities and other resistors that are seen. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. Stay tuned for our next tutorials.